Yeah, Cali Finest, baby. Proof of grind all the time. Music money, got a dollar sign. Hub City. I'm a street nigga, streets fuck with me. I'ma keep pushing products till the fans get me. It's guap off top, diamond Cartier. That nigga wall won't give a broke bitch the time of day. They see me climbing, they see me shine.
Professor Nutty Mail, the Hood Post, man, you know the vibe. Look what we got here today. Who am I here with today?
DJ Fred, aka Ghost.
Ghost,
Yes, Nutty
man.
Mail.
It's been a long time, man. I've been waiting for this interview. This is like one of the interviews that I've been waiting on. You being located, where did you grow up at?
I grew up in Harbor City.
So is that where you arrived at? That's where your parents been the whole time?
Yes.
So tell us about the experience of Harbor City.
Man, growing up in Harbor City off of 253rd and Petroleum, most of my family's from there, grew up there right in the projects right there. And uncles, aunties, San Pedro also, yeah, that's where I grew up at, my mama, and it was good back in the 70s.
Was that due to the migration of the ports opening up and all? Remember, because they had Todd Shipyard down there during those days,
yeah.
and all the people that melanated people kind of floated that way because of the job market.
Yeah, basically, a quick brief history. When my grandmother, they moved from Louisiana in the 1930s, because one of my uncles, his name was Prophet Jones, got his legs cut off by the Klan. And so they're like, fuck this, we out of here. So they moved to San Pedro. He was a contractor. A man with no legs built a house.
That's amazing.
And they had 15 kids. So my grandmama had 15 kids. So basically everybody worked on building the docks in San Pedro in Wilmington.
Man, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Because I've also grew up around that area because my father was in the military, so we functioned between the Navy base and Fort MacArthur.
Fort MacArthur, yeah.
Yes.
Pedro, yeah.
Yes, San Pedro area, Cabrillo Beach, the whole
thing,
Point Furman, Pex Park.
Yeah, all that, man. Yeah. It was good. It was good back in the 70s,
Very good.
It was good. Everybody like your mama would whoop my ass, vice versa. Send you home, get another ass whooping. So everybody knew everybody. It was a good environment in the 70s.
I totally agree. Mm-hmm. So at what point did you guys come familiar with the gang culture? Because you guys had your own thing over there. What was it called?
It was called Harbor City Crips.
Harbor City Crips.
Yeah.
And what year did that come about?
My earliest memory was like 78, 79.
Okay, good enough,
Yeah.
good enough. Were you ever a part of it?
I was, yeah.
Okay. But then at some point, we all know that you grew up out of that. And what was the next thing that you take on? If you want to delve into the Crip thing, you can. But if not, we can delve into what got you where you went and where you landed and where you are today.
Man, my earliest memory is like one of the older guys from the neighborhood. I was sitting on the porch reading a Dr. Seuss book, and I thought they were firecrackers, but it wasn't firecrackers. And he come running past the porch, and I looked at him. He looked at me. He had a gunshot wound in his shoulder, in his arm right here. He was bleeding. And I'm sitting there reading my book as a kid, and I looked at him. He kept running, and some guys chased him. Didn't know what happened. Mom snatched me by my natural. Back then we had, naturals or afros for these youngsters that don't know that. And,
Absolutely.
Found out what happened. Basically, the day I got off the porch, it was the day my life changed.
Explain.
Well, back then, we was young entrepreneurs, basically, young hustlers. Mm-hmm. And when I say hustlers or entrepreneurs, what we did was we mowed lawns back in the day. We collected cans and golf balls. This is what we did when we were kids, so we can go to the candy lady's house. One day, this new thing came out in like 83. I heard of it, but never saw it. So one of my childhood friends stopped collecting golf balls, stopped mowing lawns, stopped doing what we were doing, you know, when we were children, and introduced me to this thing. I said, "What's this?" He said, "This is called rock cocaine." You know, I was like, "Take me home." That was my first insight, was take me home, you know, and but the life of me, dog, none of my homeboys in my little clique, I didn't want to look like a buster or a punk, so I had $27 in my pocket, and they told me you could make some money doing this. So, make a long story short, homie, what I did was I said, "Yeah, I'll stay. I'll slang this shit." And that night I made $800.
That got your attention.
Turned me out.
To go from $27 to $800, that definitely got your attention.
Yeah, these things called one shots back in the days, like a 16th, sell that, flip that, flip that, flip that. And you got to understand where we're from. We're right by Rolling Hills, you know, we're right by Torrance. It's
Palos Verdes,
you know, all these places. So this is in the beginning of this pandemic, basically. And that first night I got turned out, made $800, and they said, if you want to continue to be from the hood, you got to get put on. And so I'm like, what that mean? So we got to fight your friends for a minute. And I did. And I became from Harbor City, you know, since then.
And was that to test your loyalty or your integrity to what you was about to embark upon or take on?
Everything. It was part of everything. You got to understand, we're children, you know, we're lost. You know, we think we're doing the right thing. You know, everybody from where I'm from, I'm gonna say 98% of people where I'm from was on lunch tickets going to school. Everybody was the 1st and the 15th when I was on school. Everybody was trying to cheat poverty. You dig what I'm saying? So this was a way for us, I'm gonna say for me, to cheat poverty. And now we can eat steak every night now.
That's one of the things I say in my videos. Every time the 1st and 15th hit, it'll feel.
Yeah.
That's not that dope. Every time it hit, you know what I mean? It's the 1st and the 15th.
Most definitely. So
you know?
when they talk about the loyalty, you know, yeah, showing loyalty, but didn't read the small print.
What was the small print after it revealed itself?
You may get shot. I got bullet holes in my body. You may get killed. Got homeboys with 14 years old, shot in the head. You may get drew down on. There was some cats like 20 years old, saw us, you know, there was some dumb moves. They pulled them double gauge shotguns on us. We was froze like deers in the headlight. And they said, "How old are y'all?" I said, "We 13, 14. So you're too young." And they let us go. Deaths going to funerals of kids. Long ass prison sentences. This is what they didn't tell me when I was in that circle. They just said, "Come get this money, and you got to be down for the hood." And so I was like,
by all being new, did you think anybody knew though? Because it was all new, right?
It was, you know, it was new. It was new. But you know, this is what it's like. Now, keep it 100 with you, man. I didn't see no danger in it. I didn't see no danger in that shit, man.
I don't think none of us did.
No, all I see is the property, the prestige. You know, there go Ghost right there. There go Melly Mel right there. What's up, homie? What's up? What's up? You know, partying, lawless. Got a few dollars in your pocket. Got the toys. Got the Lolos. The females. Who don't want to have that?
Everybody wants that.
Everybody wants to be.
That's the
good
shiny object that we all attracted to.
It's that fame, man. It's that hood. It's that hood fabulousness, you know.
Yeah. So how'd you get the name Ghost?
My light skin.
So they just look, man, that's Ghost right there.
Yeah, actually, I had a Cats with a Ghost t-shirt on. And this is before I got put on. They're like, "That's gonna be your new handle." I look down. I looked down and said, this, like, yeah, you can be called Ghost now. All right, so I ain't got to be what the name my mama gave me.
That was kind of cool, right? To
Acceptance.
have an alter ego.
Acceptance, yeah.
Yeah.
But this alter ego, I'll tell you more about who dominated my life. See, Ghost, homie, was born, DJ was born in 71, right? Ghost was born in 83. Mm-hmm. Ghost dominated DJ. Ghost was more, how can I say, homie, Ghost was the dominant force. DJ stopped growing from 71 to 83.
Mm-hmm. And Ghost took over?
Ghost took over. Shit.
So what was Ghost like? Was he ruthless?
Deep down, for real, man, I adapted to that life. Ghost adapted to that lifestyle. You dig what I'm saying? So you got to do what you got to do.
A lot of calculation.
A lot of calculation, a lot of thinking. But when I was hustling, I'm a smart dummy. You dig what I'm saying?
Explain.
So, smart dummy is I left school at a young age, which I should not have, but when I'm out there getting my little money, I guess you could say, some of the older homies saw potential and said, we're gonna get you off these, curb serving, and we're gonna put you over here. So I worked them, what we call rock houses back then. I didn't like it. It was hard money. So I just healed up from a wound. My other homeboy, H-Dog, he just got killed. So, it was like my whole mentality changed just like that. You know what I'm saying? Shit just changed.
When did the outer town start playing a part? Because that's a lot of different tribes wind out didn't want to be. I think it was kind of like an embarrassment to be in your own community, just be out there on the block, so if you took it away from there and went outside, it became more easier for you to do. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I definitely get what you're saying. By curb serving, repping the hood, having enemies and rivals and shit like that. It's too difficult to be out there on the street corners, get that $1,000, whatever it may get a night. It's hard money. Working in rock houses is like, ain't nowhere to go because in case it gets raided, it's like this shit is too hard. You know what I'm saying? So figured out that one of the homies lived out of state, he had family out of state, and he came back and said, man, these zones are going for $2,200.
In what state?
St. Louis.
Ooh.
So I'm like,
St. Louis niggas want their corners back.
They were going for $1,800, and I was 16 at the time.
So you the dude Ice Cube was rapping about?
That's part of it, yeah. So
St. Louis niggas.
Yeah, so this is like in '86, right? So remember I told you before this interview started that I had a lowrider and I had a 7.7 Cutlass Supreme. Mm-hmm. I sold the 7.7 Cutlass Supreme and I went and got a half a bird with the money that I did have. And I went out there and it came up.
So, world was yours.
It was different now.
What was that? What was that money? What was that cash flow like?
Shit, the cash flow was ridiculous. So first I got there on a Thursday, and I had this work with me, homie. I was in the next thing smoking back to LA, because back then you had TWA,
I remember that.
So I flew first class, $580, never forget it, $580 first class back to LA, went back to my connect and said, now I want a whole one. And so from there, it was like, go right back,
So how long was you able to initiate that plan? Because here's the thing, right? If we do the mathematics on it, right? you got to be lucky every time. How many times the police got to be lucky?
Once.
There it is there. So how long, because I'm trying to figure out, because I know what happened to me, right? And I kept going and going and going, but then there's one time I wasn't lucky.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure out when was the time, when did it come for you?
Man, you got to remember, this is the early 80s. It's early 80s, you know, the mid 80s. So the technology and the surveillance, what they were doing, you had to be smarter than the average bear.
True.
You understand what I'm saying? So I was in Torrance, one of my white boy homeboys I went to school with. You know, I pulled up in, you know, in the Taco Bell parking, you know, drive-through, and he was like, "What's up, Goals?" I'm like, "What's going on, man?" I said, "Man, how much you making here?" He said, $3.35
An hour.
I said, "You making $3.35 an hour to work at Taco Bell drive-through?" And he was like, "Yeah." I said, "Man, how about I give you $1,500 for a day?" He was like, "What you mean?" I said, "Man, here my pager number." That's how far back it is. He paged me, and I told him, I said, "Man, this is what I do." So he was like, all right. I was 17 at the time. He said, all right. So now, you got to understand, you have to be smarter than the average bear. Now, me, I went on that bus for a few times, right? I didn't like the bus. So I got this white boy, blonde hair, blue eyes, wearing Army fatigues. You know, Army Navy surplus. Put him on that bus with that work. They would not fuck with him. When he gets there, he call me. I fly out there and I'll dump him. So now I didn't sell rocks out there. I sold zones out there. And by this time, it went up from 1800 to 2200. So if I take a bird out there, or bird and a half out there, I'm coming up strong. So I'll give him $1,500, you know, and then I'll give him 5 racks, you know, start paying him more money because it was good. And I'll only do it twice a month. So I'm beating the odds.
Yeah, you're beating the odds. You're beating the odds.
And I'm sending the police, they're going to stop me anyway. You know.
So you the decoy.
I'm the decoy. No, I would send somebody else with them. You know, at 2 different times. Send the white boy in by himself, and then send one of the homies there with him. You know, and so they'll stop the brother. You know, the black dude.
Racial profiling. So the white boy would get on the bus with all the work. As soon as they get there, give him some money. Done deal.
Done deal's a wrap.
That was smart.
Had to be smarter than the average bear.
How long did that go for?
That went on for a long time, man. It started when you're curb serving, you don't have no problems. You dig what I'm saying? But when the money starts getting bigger, this is when the problem comes in. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers you think actually love you don't. You know, it's like when I'm gonna invite you, come on get this money, man. You like, nah, homie, I'm cool with this. But then you see me bossing up. I never thought I was better than nobody else. I just had a bigger picture, you know, because it was a business to me. It wasn't a hustle, it was a business. So, yeah.
That's sweet. So, at what point did you notice that the change? Because at some point, there's got to be a paradigm shift or something changed that the folks now is kind of like looking at you, but you thinking in your mind they not, but maybe something ain't different, something ain't right, so to speak.
Well, you know, you move out the, you know, you getting the money, you're going to move out the neighborhood because you want something better, you know what I'm saying? You're going to move your mama if you can. You know, you're going to give, I'm going to take from your family, basically, to provide for my family. You know what I'm saying? In this business that we do. People that I knew from different neighborhoods that their homeboys, you know, turned on them for some money. So you start getting a little bit paranoid. You start hearing, you know, everybody want to be a street king, right? So you got the freeway Ricks, you got all the, you know, all these names that you hear that you're shooting for. You know what I'm saying? And when you run across these cats and they tell you this is part of this lifestyle, you know, and then you start seeing motherfuckers get killed, robbed, and ain't nobody getting caught about it, you know what I'm saying? So the only ones that can get close to me is the ones that know me. So yeah, there is a level of paranoia when it comes to that part right there. And I started to see that shit.
So when that started to take place, so at what point were you at in the game? Because now you got all this money, you don't moved out the hood, you got all the cars, you got all the money, you got the jewelry, and
Got
everything.
stuff, yeah.
You got all the things, right? So what was your frame of thinking now? What did you think about now? Where do I need to invest? Do I need to put this money? You know what I mean? Because there's different things that
And
hit your
that's
mind.
where I said in the beginning I'm a smart dummy.
Okay.
Because I have all the, you know, I have all this money. I was working with, you know, some Mexicans that I knew, that I grew up with, you know what I'm saying? So that's why the work that I get was what you would pay for a bird, I wouldn't pay for that, you know what I'm saying? And so what happened was I didn't know what to do with it, because now I don't trust you, you know. There was some ego involved too, dog. There was some ego, some pride, you know, there's no doubt about it. And
So while you living down by the port, did that give you more access to the product? Because a lot of things come through ports.
Well, it's them. I'm going through them. They got the plug. I just happened to grow up with his nephew, and his nephew, we used to pop lock together. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I got love, was because his people.
That's what we like to call rapport.
Rapport, yeah.
Being in commonality.
Yeah. Yeah.
In the continuance of commonality.
Exactly. So, real talk, man. Real talk. I ain't know what to do with this shit, man. Ain't know what to do with it. You know, part of my ego wouldn't tell me, like, take advice, because now I surpassed you. You know, I don't like, there's a lot of shit that happens. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you go kick it with the homies, do this and that, break bread a little bit. But here comes the part now, it's like, I wanted everybody to win, but everybody didn't want to play the game. Does that make sense?
Yes. Because the temperament and the mindset are very different. You know what I mean? People grow up different, and they grow up in different ways. Some people grow up with love, and some people grow up with hurt. And some people grow up with abuse. Some people grow up in stability. So depends on the circumstance.
Oh my goodness, man, for real, man. Like uncles and family and shit. You know, they couldn't tell me nothing. Like, I got, you know, what can you tell me?
And then there's that people that know everything.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
because of the money, you're blinded by, you know, their idea of it, because you figure you have all this money, you have all this access now. You can do anything you want. You go to Beverly Hills now, shop.
There was a level of immaturity.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So, doing what I was doing, dog, you know, going to St. Louis, going to Wichita Falls, Texas, Tulsa, Oklahoma back in the day. And you got to understand that it wasn't as prevalent as it was out here in LA back in the 86 and 87 and 88. So
Those were virgin areas.
there were green areas. You know, I can walk with a backpack with a brick of hard in my backpack, and the St. Louis police just wave at you. I'm getting ready to run. They're like, don't run. You know, they don't know this. They don't know what we're doing. We're looked at as kids, you know, kids selling cocaine, you know. So it was still green, and, you know, the gang violence, it wasn't like that in 86. They're like, man, they only saw shit because of the movies that they saw.
Boys in the Hood, South Central, to name a few.
No, yeah, that wasn't out yet.
Yeah.
This is like
oh yeah, you're right.
like Colors and stuff
Colors.
like that.
There we,
You know,
yeah,
that's the only
there
thing
we
they
go.
saw was Colors.
Yeah, there you go.
And it's like, you know, so, you know, the gangs, you know, it's like, we only saw Crips and Bloods on TV. Oh, but there's some on the north side, you know, there's some on the south side. The only thing they know about is Vice Lords, GDs, and, you know.
But look at it from this perspective. But what they saw of Crips and Bloods was a deception because you went down there under cloak and dagger,
Yeah.
trying to get this product.
Just a small circle.
Yeah. So you didn't really want to give them the real, what a real Crip was. You know, although they knew, but they didn't get the full course or the full understanding of what Crips did and what they didn't do. They just got very glimpses because you had to protect who you were. You didn't want nobody to know that you were, you know, they fine if they knew ghosts, but but you didn't.
I can equate it like this.
Okay.
Like if we in a car together, right? Only you know where we going. Only you know the information where we going. The motherfucking car in front of us and the car behind us don't know. So I'm gonna leave them sleep. So if I'm gonna turn left, I ain't gonna let you know with my blinker. I'm just gonna turn left or turn right. So everybody, I did not want everybody to know, you know, what we were doing. But the people in the car asked these questions, and by observation, I would see everybody hangs out at a place called the White Castle restaurant. You know, we go out there and post up and like, where are you from? You from around here? Like, no, I ain't from around here. You know, like, you talk funny. You know, so they knew I was from LA because they like, you ain't from around her. Like, no, I am not from around here. You know,
That's how they said her.
But I take nothing away from them cats in Oklahoma. I take nothing away from them cats in St. Louis. Them motherfuckers will put you to sleep.
True.
No doubt.
Gangsters are everywhere.
No doubt.
All four corners.
The safest place for me in St. Louis was the projects downtown. Because I grew up in the projects, you know. So, but it was a dangerous place once they knew who I was, you know, my clique, you know. I was safe down there, you know, but outside, it was something else. But
Okay, here it comes, though, Ghost. Here it comes. At what part did the feds start getting wind or start even looking in your direction? Did you realize it?
Nope. Did not realize it. Man, it was a fluke. How I got popped was a fluke.
When you say a fluke, you mean you were just doing some normal stuff and bam, they stumbled on you. Explain this fluke.
I got tired. I didn't want to do it no more. Remember, I'm 19 now. I've been in this business for 5-6 years. You know, on the accelerated program. You know, I didn't want to do it no more because I'm gonna keep it 100, man. That's why I used to get faded all the time. You know. Seeing shit, man, where I grew up at, dog, it changed rapidly. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to sell dope no more. I wanted to do something different, but I didn't know what to do different. You understand what I'm saying? So the ones that gave me that, my first one shot, was getting ready to have a baby. So I'm like, dog, here, man, I'll give you this amount. You move this for me. Call me when you get there. Here goes some money. Blah, blah, blah. It was 3 people. It was 3 people. 3 people that I would have put you to sleep for. And 3 people that I would have defended them with my life. You know what I'm saying? They got caught. They didn't follow the instructions that I've given them.
Proper instructions prevent poor performance.
Exactly. So they're supposed to leave. Like my white boyfriend, you know, that sounds funny, huh? Like the white dude that worked for me, he would leave in the afternoon. My 3 homies, one was a homegirl too. They left at midnight when the Greyhound bus was damn near deserted. They followed him and asked him, you know, you got some work on you. This was February 5th, 1990. They all told on me. They got arrested with that word.
Stop it right there.
Hub City. I'm a street nigga, streets fuck with me. I'ma keep pushing products till the fans get me. It's guap off top, diamond Cartier. That